read some of it.
Some of it? You only had to read the part about seabed.
I don't know where to start.
You don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Start at the beginning.
Okay. Oh, where were you when the bomb on Pearl Harbor happened?
Where was I?
Yeah.
In Grand Rapids.
In Grand Rapids. What were you doing?
I was out riding around with a friend and we heard it on the radio.
What'd you feel about it? What'd you think about it?
I didn't have any feelings. I just knew that it is bound to happen.
You didn't want to go out and fight for your country right away?
No.
Why not?
Because I'd already registered for the draft.
What did you do during the war?
What did I do?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what did I do?
Like,
You mean, what was my job?
yeah. What kind of things did you do?
Well, I was a mechanic in a firing battery. In other words, the maintenance end of the battery. Took care of the vehicles, not the guns, the vehicles.
How was the food? I just have all these stupid questions written down.
Well, the food, at least we didn't starve because they had C rations, they had K rations, they had 5 in 1 and 10 in 1, depending on the size of the squad that you were in. If there was 4 or less, well, we got 5 in 1 ration, or we got C rations. C rations was in a can. They had 3 types of food. One was beans and franks, the other was stew, and the other was one I didn't like because that's but there was only 3 cans, and the other can carried the hardtack crackers plus an envelope of drink like powdered coffee or lemonade, and then they had 3 pieces of hard candy.
Okay.
Oh, whoopee!
You got your candy. Did you listen to any music?
What?
Did you listen to any music?
We got to the headquarters and they had a truck and they usually turned on Active Sally. She played music for us.
Great. We listened to like a whole bunch of music in his class and like gave us the words and stuff. Did you like any of it? Just listen to Sinatra?
No, the only ones that because we were in combat, and the only one that we got was most of what they turned on was Active Sally, and she played different records. I couldn't remember what record she played, trying to get us homesick. Wanted to leave and go home and quit fighting. But she was the main one on during the war.
Did you write any letters home?
Did I what?
Write any letters home or get any letters?
Oh, my mother, yeah. Mother and father. And I wrote a letter once in a while to my brother who was in the Navy, but he was stationed in South America.
What was he doing in South America?
Well, he was in
Was he fighting or just?
well, that's where they sent him. He was in a Naval Air Squadron. And so they sent the whole squadron down there. He had to go with him. But in active combat, he did not see any active combat.
But you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did you feel towards the war? Did you like think you're doing the right thing or?
Oh yeah, because I was patriotic and I should fight for my country. Yeah. Had no remorse. And when they called me up, I went.
Do you have any stories to tell me?
No, I don't. The stories all I tell is the good ones. The bad ones, no, I don't.
Well,
I very seldom talk about the war.
You can tell me good stories.
I can tell you a good story, yes. Your grandmother knows there was my driver was his name is McIntyre. He's from Pennsylvania. And so we had patched up one of our fighting tanks, and when I got it fixed, the guy started and he broke it again. I told him, "You just stay here and let service battery come up and pick you up." So we went up to catch up with our unit, and there was supposed to be a guy outside to tell us where to turn in, and he didn't tell us. We kept going on and on and on, and the rocket's red glare was really firing him. I told him he better turn. We had a trailer on the back of the half drive. I said, "Boy, you better get it around or we're going to end up POW." We managed to get back. And I was really teed off.
I would be too.
And the guy that was there, they stopped me and they held me back. Told the guy to get out of here before. That's just one of the funny stories. The rest of it, no. Don't ask me anything about it.
Okay, I won't. What'd you do during D-Day?
What did I do during D-Day?
Yeah.
You mean invasion and all that?
Yeah.
Well, we were in Italy preparing to make the invasion of southern France. 2 months after D-Day, we made the invasion of southern France August 15th, 1944. So that's where we were.
Did you guys liberate any camps?
Did I what?
Liberate any camps?
No.
I guess those were really scary.
They left that to the rest of it. We didn't know. We didn't. Nothing to do with that.
Trying to think more questions.
Bye.
Do you have any other funny stories to tell me?
Not funny stories, no. We were all serious. Although, no, it wasn't funny. We had a couple of them go over the hill. That wasn't funny. Outside of that, we just did our job and tried to occupy our time.
How'd you do that?
If we had a break and wasn't fighting, we sometimes we'd play ball and guys played volleyball. Oh, there was one funny instance at the casino. We were playing ball and the German airplanes were going back to their lines.
Mm-hmm.
And they were flying so low that I could have read the pilot's dog tag. That's how low they were. And they caught us all right there playing ball. Didn't even have a chance to get on our guns to fire it.
They didn't do anything?
They didn't stay straight with them. They just kept on going.
I would have been scared out of my mind.
Well, we were scared anyway. You're scared when you first get in combat.
Mm.
Anyone tells you they're not scared, Don't believe me. Well, one time I was scared yes, when they had argued about bombing the Abbey at casino, and we were at the foot of the casino and firing our guns up there, and they bombed. We looked up and someone had miscalculated and dropped the bomb, and we thought they were coming right on us. So we all dove for our hole. Well, they landed in our area, but no one got hurt in our outfit.
What did you do after the war when you got home?
Breathe a sigh of relief.
Did you work? Did you get a job anywhere?
No, I went back to Continental because we were entitled to go back to work for at least a year after we got out of service. That's the agreement they made with the company, big company. So I took 3 months off, and 2 days before 3 months was over, I went down and hired back in.
What did you work at?
Continental Motors. It was Continental then. Now I retired from Teledyne Continental. Now it's General.
General Motors?
No, it's General Electric. No, or General. What? Dynamic, yeah, General Dynamics. That's what it is now.
Is that like electronics, like, or cars?
Hmm?
What is it, like cars?
They made manufactured motors.
Kind of like my dad does, like plane engines.
Well, we did. Before I went in, they made engines for aircraft because they had aircraft and they had automotive. We made manufactured motors for tractors mostly, and for the big fire engines at that time. And the aircraft managed what they call radial engines for planes then, before they started inline engines. So they had inline engines in some of them, but not in all of them. And the firing, I was in the firing battery, and the tanks that our guns were on had the motors from the Continental. They were Whirlwind, Wright Whirlwind motors, 9 cylinders.
When did you meet Grandma?
That I can thank my sister. She knew my sister and introduced us. And
What?
you're still here. And of course, we were all married the same number of years. My sister that introduced your grandma was married the same year that your grandma and I were married, and my brother was also married the same year that we were married. So when we celebrated 50th, we all celebrated 50th that year.
Really? I don't remember that.
You know it now.
Yeah, I don't know. When you heard about when they, at the end from Japan, when they bombed Hiroshima, were you mad about it, or?
No. Something had to be done.
Yeah.
Because they were doing everything under the sun to get at them, but so I think he made the right decision.
He showed us like a cartoon that Japan made. And it showed about the bomb, like a whole bunch of little kids playing, and then the bomb came down and showed them all melting away. I was surprised.
We didn't have much. We were over in Europe, in Japan, the Pacific War, almost 10,000 miles of it. So we didn't know what was going on over there, and everybody didn't know what was going on over where we were. Except to communicate between the higher ups, like in the Pentagon in Washington.
When did you come home?
I come home in 1945.
Same year that ended.
Yeah. I discharged the 15th of October 1945. And I was drafted on March 20th, 1942.
Did you go back into the Korean War, or did you just stay home when it happened?
What?
Did you go fight again in the Korean War, or did you
No,
stay home when it happened?
Called up in the Korean War, but then we had too many dependents to discharge.
What are dependents?
Kids.
Oh. I don't know that.
You were one of your dad's dependents, aren't you?
I guess so.
He takes you off his income tax.
Yeah.
You had 4 or more when they let you out. Discharge, a hardship discharge. I was in there in Fort Lewis, Washington from the 15th of October, 1950 to December 6th, 1950.
I couldn't remember all these dates.
Well, those dates you do remember when you went in and when you went out. Are all the students supposed to interview?
Yeah. Like these 2 girls, well, they're in different classes, but they ended up interviewing the same guy from the VFW, and he didn't want to talk about anything. He just sat there and like, yep, no.
Yeah.
And then
There's a lot of them like that.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of them that's all they can talk about. I have my sister-in-law's brother, that's all he wants to talk about. We're there, he's there. Yeah, I know. And he keeps talking about it. I won't say a word. And eventually he quit talking. My sister-in-law come up and she says, well, at least you know how to do it. I just don't say it.
does he think he's a war hero?
I don't know. I think it was the only event in his life.
Mm-hmm.
I admit it's a big event. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can carry it too far. I wouldn't want to go through it again.
I don't think anybody would go through it again.
So if you have to interview World War II veterans, there's not very many of them left because a lot of them are.
We just had an interview with someone that lived in that period, like that would know about it and stuff. And he said to do your family because it's more significant to you than just interviewing some guy at the VFW.
Well, the VFW is veterans of foreign war, and they all have to they have to serve overseas. Or your American Legion don't. That's open to any veteran. And of course, then you had what they call a disabled American vets. That's the ones that were wounded.
Mm-hmm.
They were the only ones that can join that. Of course, you have to be an overseas veteran to be a disabled vet.
Yeah, so you can get in both of them.
I was reading an obituary today. The guy that died, he was awarded 2 Purple Hearts.
2 of them? Was he in 2 wars, or was he
No, the same war. He could be wounded twice in the same war. He awarded
He
Purple
was
Heart
one of
each
those
time
that
he
got hurt
wounded.
and then they sent back out, right?
Well, yeah, when they patch him up, figure he's able to go back, he goes back. He didn't say how, he just said he was awarded 2 Purple Hearts.
Did you get any awards
Yeah.
for the words?
I got the Purple Heart plus the Blonde Star.
What's the Blonde Star?
That's one right next to Purple Heart. And it's, I don't have the medal now. Your cousin has it. Sean's got it. He's the only one that wanted it, so I gave him.
My dad's got something like that.
I think he got it from. This is World War One. He got it from my uncle.
Your uncle? I thought it was his grandpa.
No, he was he was my mother's brother.
He's got a lot of them in the storehouse. Looking at all of them.
What?
Just like there's name tags and awards and stuff. I don't really remember. It was a while ago.
Yeah, he was in the big battle in World War One. He wouldn't. Even though he wouldn't talk about it. So when he was still alive when I got back, and we get talking about, we wouldn't say anything. Nothing about the war. Talking about everything in general. Anything but that.
Did your family suffer during the Depression? Like before the war?
No, my father was lucky. He worked all during the Depression.
What do you do?
He's the bookkeeper, Associated Truck Line. As a matter of fact, I think he was the head bookkeeper.
He was a special need.
Well, back then, that was a good job.
Mm-hmm.
That was before computers.
I know.
Or computers and
Calculators.
calculators, yeah.
Computers came out in the 80s, so.
Well, back then, the Depression was 1929.
Just a few years off.
Yeah, just a few. Over a quarter of a century. Just think we had computers back when I was a kid. Look how smart I would be. I'd probably be president of the United States.
Maybe I'll be rich. Would you like to get into politics?
No, I never was interested in politics. No.
Then how can you be the president of the United States without getting
Well, I
into
know.
politics?
We usually vote in all the elections. I mean, since we were married, I didn't vote for FDR, and although he was in office for 12 years.
You didn't like him?
No, it's just that because when he first went in, I wasn't old enough.
About the other years, did you vote for him the other year?
Well, the second time I was down here, I wasn't registered. And the third time, I was in service. And so I didn't vote because I'd had to vote absentee. And I wasn't registered, so I couldn't vote anyway. Well, the last time we were still overseas before he died.
Understood.
So he's in, it served 4 terms. I never voted for him. I never just liked the man. He did a lot for the country.
Mm-hmm. He was a good leader. Did you like Truman or Eisenhower?
Truman was all right, yeah. Eisenhower, he used to be my boss.
He used to be your boss.
Well, sure, he was commander-in-chief of all the European operations.
Oh, yeah.
So
I knew that.
he had to be my boss.
When you said boss, I was thinking more closer. I was like, oh, you knew him?
We always call him my boss.
Mm.
He was a complete Allied commander over all of them. English and Polish, French, even Italians. The Italians gave up and joined us.
There's other ones too. When MacArthur was in Japan. My teacher said that Eisenhower was the commander of forces in Europe, and then either Bradley or Marshall was like overall, like all the troops.
And Marshall was over.
Overall was Marshall.
But he was here. Yeah. He was in the United States. And he didn't. Allied commanders were separate. But I think they answered to him. That would be Eisenhower and
MacArthur.
MacArthur. You guys weren't to see MacArthur and Eisenhower were two of the 5-star generals. The other 5-star was Wolf Halsman. He was in the Navy.
You don't hear that much about the Navy when it comes to.
Well, the Navy fought a lot more battles in the Pacific than they did over in Europe. Most of ours was land-based. We, of course, when they made the invasion, they crossed the English Channel. Yeah, the Navy was involved in that. And when we made an invasion in southern France, well, the Navy was invaded. But the Navy over in the Pacific was going island to island, and they were doing a lot of fighting there.
The D-Day every island. I think that's why they.
I can tell you another funny instance. When we made making the invasion of southern France, we were on what they call an LCI. That was landing craft infantry. So they put us aboard that and started going in to make the landing. And so the Navy opened up the broadside, and we were right close to the USS New York, the battleship. And you let broadside go, and boy, it just seemed like that LCI just jumped out of the water about 6 foot. And I was telling them, I said, boy, you better hurry and land because I'm getting seasick, and I wasn't the only one. But we finally made it and got out. But that's the only contact I had with him. I'd say those big gunfires. And of course, you see them rock back and forth until they steadied.
Yeah. What do you think about Adolf Hitler?
I think he was a madman. So
Evil.
it's an evil in everyone, but I think he was a man.
What about Stalin?
Stalin is another one that they should never trust him as far as they had. And he was just as bad as Hitler.
I think he was worse because he killed his own people.
Well, so was Hitler. He was killing his own people too, the same thing. Of course, Hitler was killing us too, but Stalin wasn't because he was fighting here. He was supposed to be our ally. And if he didn't like what the general did, well, he just eliminated him. Or another general. So I don't know how he got as far as he did. But
No more questions, huh?
no more questions?
I don't know. Not really. There's one journal that we have to do. Like the hydrogen bomb or Sputnik, whatever. We have to be a teacher and explain like Sputnik, the satellite, and I don't know. It's a really hard journal.
Some that were over in the Pacific, yeah, they could tell you more about it than we could.
Yeah. You have to like explain what's happening, and I don't know.
The two bombs, they killed an awful lot of people. I mean, I couldn't see much about it, not being on that side over there. They didn't use that over Europe.
I don't think I
We
have
were
it.
talking about music. We had Actor Sally in the Pacific Theater had Tokyo Road.
What's that?
That's what they called her. And she did the same thing Actor Sally did, try to get the Americans to go home.
Make them homesick more and more.
Yeah. Well, you could see that it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's propaganda. A lot of it was propaganda. Well, it was propaganda. That's what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, this book here tells it was just about our outfit. In other words, the battalion I was in.
It's kind of hard to understand.
Well,
I read.
it is if someone's just taking the reading, if you don't know what it's involved. So.
Yeah.
Then take it. We really know what we're doing. We consisted. Well, this is the 59. We had 5 batteries plus a medical detachment. And they weren't quite as big as they call the headquarters battery, which they had the most men in it. And they had A, B, C, and they were firing batteries. Each battery had 6 105 mounted on tanks, like that picture I showed you.
Yeah. I remember looking up which one you were in. Right there.
What?
You're in battery C.
Yeah.
Did you have any best friends?
Huh?
Did you have any best friends?
Oh yeah. When I was telling you about the driver in McIntyre.
Leo.
I always call him a little German Jew.
Why?
Just to be different. We always got on them. Usually you don't. Well, he's in the same section of it. There was only 1, 2, 3. There was only 4 of us in the section at the end. In 5th grade, he was our driver. He was just 4 in the section. And, well, each battery, we're going to take a picture of that. I had that little picture.
It's somewhere in
There's a picture that,
the tank.
yeah, these are, that's it. Now, these are the guns with the firing battery. Each one, we had 6 of them in A, B, and C. We call them Abel, Baker, and Charlie. And this here is what we had was a tank retriever when they got blown up at the casino.
That wasn't a fighting one.
This one here, one with the A-frame on it.
So it's kind of like a
And
tow
then-
truck.
Well, yeah, it's like a tow truck, but it was big enough so we could follow these here things are 30 tons. And it got blown, so they took it away, but we never got it replaced. We replaced it with a half track. If we had to haul any, pull one of the tanks, we couldn't do it with a half track. And we'd have to call service battery and they had to come up with their bigger vehicles to take them out.
Where are these pictures taken?
Those are taken at Fort Knox.
Hmm.
When your grandmother and I were down at Fort Knox for a reunion we went to Fort Knox, and they had all the different kind of vehicles like that out there, a few, and so we just went up and looked at them, see if it would bring back memories.
Did it? Well, obviously you must have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they don't see here that some here that Nibby was the captain. He was our battery commander. He was killed,
All those people on that list were?
and he was the ones that were all killed and died in the hospital. And there's Joseph Strubert. He was too. A lot of things that
Did you read this whole book?
I read through it. I just took the parts that we were in, like where the C battery went up to do this and do that, but part of the other batteries don't make a difference to me. So, with the reunion, we got, see, when we were in Fort Knox, not Fort Knox, but Camp Chaffee, very seldom did the batteries get together, unless they had a battalion track meet or something like that. Outside of buddying one battery or the other, no. On payday, a lot of them went up to headquarters and gamble, play craps, cards, because they had the most rank up there, non-commissioned rank, and that's where the money was. We didn't have that much down in firing batteries.
You guys played sports while you were there?
Huh?
You guys played sports while you
Oh
were
yeah,
there?
they have ball games between batteries.
Did you play basketball?
No, we didn't.
You
The
didn't
only
play that?
basketball they had there was the one that the camp had a field house where you could play basketball. We didn't go up there very often.
You didn't like basketball?
Well, I like basketball, but we didn't. Never got together to play basketball because you'd have to walk about half a mile or more to get to the field house. Then you didn't know whether you get it or not. And if somebody else had it before you got there. The only time I was in there is when I got there, first got to camp, and they signed us to different outfits. And don't ask me how I got into the artillery outfit. I had never fired a cannon. But they put me in the field artillery. And then when I started out as a driver for a gun, but then they sent me to school, Fort Knox. I come back and I got in the maintenance section
So you didn't have to
because I
shoot?
worked at Continental, and that's what they were using in the engines we had. It's Continental engines. I was listed as a tank mechanic, but you were supposed to do anything. Jeeps, tap tracks.
You're a good mechanic.
Well, we kept the vehicle going.
Yeah. You just kept them going.
Well, that's all we had could do. What we call first and second echelon maintenance. Minor repair. Any major repair had to go back to service battery, and any real major, well, then they had to send it back to quartermaster. But they took the tanks in for a checkup at the quartermaster, and they were going to pull the motor out and either repair it or put another one in. And they pulled the motor out, and the officer in charge was looking it over and wondering, how do you guys ever keep this thing going? We had everything all wired. What? Lock ends, I think, were too apart. He said you got more wire in there than they use for telephone. That's the way it was.
They look complicated.
Well, it was on them, and later during the war, then they come out with inline engines. That was, well, like a regular motor engine now, and everything's in it. Not a V8, everything's in line. And you just opened the trap, and you had catwalks on each side of the motor, and you work from either side. But the tank we had, you couldn't do that. You had to take off the armor plate. As a matter of fact, you want to change the spark plug, you had to stand on your head.
Really?
And that was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
So you like to change the spark plugs?
You know, well, I changed spark plugs, and then you tell when they misfire, you have to guess about which one it was, because you could tell on the car because you had a spark plug check and see what was missing or not. That way you could just check. You had to take the plate off and go all the way down, stand on your head, and unscrew the plug and put another one in its place and put it on again. All right, I very seldom missed it, but we had to take armor plate off and bolt it back on. So we only did that once.
How long did it take you?
Well, it took us quite a while the first time, but after that we only put about 4 bolts back in. We didn't put all of them back in. So it didn't take as long. First time is always a hard. Always hard. And of course you had to get on underneath it and drain the oil. You had to take a plate off the bottom and drain the oil. So we'd have to dig a slit trench and have them dry the tank over, open it out and let the oil drip out, and you get out of there before the oil got to you. It was all drained out, and then you crawled underneath it, put the plug back in, and then after we got the oil in, then he'd have the driver move the tank away from the oil pit, and then we put the plate back. Always a good little.
Teach my dad how to do them kind of things on cars.
Huh?
Did you teach my dad how to do them kind of things on cars?
No, he learned that. He learned that by himself.
I just learned how to put a new window in.
Oh yeah. I never had to put a window in.
Did you hear about that?
You put a window in your car?
Yeah, it just shattered all over. I was getting ice cream and I had a big old dent in the side of my car, and like I was trying to roll it down and there was a little pressure and I didn't want to go anymore, so I just left it there. And then all of a sudden it just shatters all over me.
Oh.
Like out of my ice cream, I didn't get to finish my ice cream.
That's unusual for a window to shatter without doing anything.
There's pressure on it probably. And we had to figure out how to put the window in. It took us forever.
No, I never had to put a window in. Everything's marked secret on the bottom. You notice that, Andrew?
What?
Secret?
Every other page
Yeah.
says secret or confidential on it.
See there? There it is. See my name there?
Yeah. For what in action?
What?
Gallantry?
Yeah.
What's that?
I guess that's what they call it.
What's gallantry? I've never heard the word before.
It's something you do on beyond the call of duty. Matter of fact, impulse. Yeah.
Can I ask what you did for it?
Huh?
Can I ask what you did for it, or
Well,
don't want to tell me?
well, I'm telling you about that vehicle that one I showed you got knocked out at casino. And they hit the tank and turned the light on in the tank. And everybody thought it was on fire, so they were going to get out of there. And the battery commander around there, I said, no. I said, I know what's the matter. I go, no, you stay out of there, man. You stay out of there. No. Because the light is shining through the cracks and they can bear on it. I mean, so I quick opened up the door and shut the light off. That's all it was.
It was just
So
fine.
that's what they did. But they didn't believe me because they actually thought it was on fire because the tank had been hit in the back, but it was a jar and it was one of these that you pull this way and turn to keep the light on. And then all you had to do was turn and snap back in and turn the light on. So I just crawled in there, turned it off, swung back on. We had put the fire out. And
What'd they say when you came back?
one guy said, "You're a damn fool." But I didn't think any of it, so they get the bronze star for it.
You knew what you were doing. Sort of.
You just do everything on impulse. You don't stop and think. You do it. But I knew it. I knew what it was. They didn't do it. And the light stayed on, but the Germans would, of course, it was at night, any little flicker, even a cigarette lighter, like you spot, and they had everything all marked down on the map. I mean, what it was, the coordinates, and this fire.
So someone lit a cigarette and thought it was
Wow.
them, and then you'd shoot.
And that's why you very seldom there's a cigarette outside
Yeah.
or anything outside. If you want to light me, you hide behind something or well, sometimes not behind something, you get inside something. It would shine. It doesn't. Shine gives out light. You go by that too. The Germans wouldn't know.
You knew it was you left.
I just told him that the only reason I got wounded is because he didn't know how to slow me down. He, on the shell he was firing at, he put MAC on it. Not MAC, it's MC. Well, that's how I got wounded. I don't know. It's supposed to, probably supposed to kill me, but it didn't kill me.
What happened?
It was up at the same place, casino.
Like hitting in the shoulder or something?
No, it wasn't serious. As a matter of fact, I was surprised they even got purple heart. It wasn't that serious. Yeah, some of the people are manned and everything. They deserve it. Well, we were getting people who cut on sea ration cans and putting in for a purple heart.
Really?
And there wasn't even any action to it. Just cut your hand on a sea ration, draw blood, and call the corpsman. Bandage, put you in for a purple heart. I don't say anything about it. The only thing that helped me on getting home. Another 5 points. You get 5 points for each medal you had, and then of course you got so many points for number of months you were in them and number of months you were overseas. And then if you were married and had children with it, you get so much that too. But I wasn't married.
Yeah.
No.
You weren't married yet.
47.
Mm.
And that was 40. Well, that was 40. Casino was 43. And then more than they ended up and everybody's up. Well, not being married, I ended up with 98 points. Which is pretty high. Mm-hmm. Of course, a lot of those that had kids, they went ahead of you. They had to take their turn. That was the most boring part of the whole war. Wait.
What'd you do while you waited? Just
Oh, they had things for you to do. And we were in a camp, and you had to go and check this and check that. And they went over your record, and you're like you're getting back to state to be discharged. Mm-hmm. They could done it all one day, and it took us all week. You did one thing a day. And they did that, and then you were on your own. You went around the camp, and all kinds of fun.
kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And we come back. Well, yeah, we were in, we zipped back home. We were in Antwerp, Belgium. Yeah, we were in what they call Camp Lucky Strike. And wait to me, board ship. Oh, we had then a PX there, and ice cream parlor, we could play ball and pitch horseshoes and that really well. And anything, they were just biding the time and just taking a few at a time on the board ship. And we got aboard ship and we went down the English Channel and we could see all the ships that were sunk inside. Impressive, I suppose. It took us, we come back on a Liberty ship. And it took us 13 days to get home. And just outside of New York Harbor, where we were supposed to dock, the ship's motor gave out. So there we sat.
What'd they do?
Waited for the tug to come pull us in. Take us in. And I've never wanted to drink milk. Boy, we got off that ship in the Red Cross there, had donuts and milk. Boy, that milk never tasted so good.
Like milk.
Not loving milk or anything like that. It was really good. And of course, most of us got out when we landed, we kissed the ground when you kissed the home ground. Mm-hmm. So we got back and we got into Indian Town Gap. So they said, anybody wants to furlough go? And told us where to put our barracks bag, and everybody threw their bags and went to the train depot and got it on the train and headed home. Oh, I did call my mother and tell her that I was home. We didn't have to have a furlough people, we just took off. Oh, another funny incident. When we got back home, I and another guy were in Boston, walking down the street, and the MP stopped us. We didn't have any ties on. You want to know, you guys are out of uniform. I said, what do you mean out of uniform? You haven't got any ties on. Well, we don't, overseas we don't wear ties. Because we had what they call a sports shirt. And then we had a bib come over and button on this side, nothing up here. And, well, what do you mean? I said, well, we're overseas, they didn't wear ties. They quit wearing ties and they wore these sports shirts. So they had to call back and went out and, oh yeah, you're right. So the only time we got, well, probably throwing the break for not wearing ties. And actually, our shirts weren't made to wear ties. I still got my tie. I haven't got my uniform on. I don't think I can get in it.
Why don't you have it?
I mean, just Ma's got it. I wore off the socks and I wore off the pants. I don't know what. And overcoat, I don't know what I didn't have. Unless they give me for Goodwill or something. And outside of that, that's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I have no more questions.
Any more questions?
Mm.
Let's see. Probably got more grandkids than these, but you had the same thing because Let's get had the same thing. Like Sarah, she had to do the same thing. And Jeff and Pat, they had to do it. Plus, and one of their friends come over here too. They graduated. Well, they go to, I don't know why, they go to our church, but they live way out there the other side of Twin Lakes. Why they don't go to St. Michael's, in Brunswick, I don't know, they're close.
You're just out there.
She come over here, she was the first one, and Jeff and Pat, and Sarah, now you, I don't know, maybe Jessica will come
You might too if you ask Mr. Lloyd.
Well, my story won't change, tell me you can copy from you.
Okay.
So, well, I can see. And our discharge gives you the number of years, months, and days. I can't remember, it was 3, I know it's 3 years, in March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So it would be 3 years, 7 months, and something like 23 days or something like that.
Well, thank you for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
The teacher don't give you an A, tell them there's no more written anything else that I will reveal to anyone. You'll understand. You must run into some veterans that won't say. You get some that will and some that won't. Just don't like to talk. Just a page out of our life. We often wonder, what would happen if it ended? If we didn't have to run.
Guess we'll never know.
No, we never will. Nope. No, everything come up with a bad thing. Yep. And of course, well, a lot of these guys, of course, a lot of them died. Since, well, when you go to the Union, you have a list of those that killed or missing in action, and those that died after, until then, or then until now. Quite a few of them. I mean, well, the Union only had, we're lucky we have 50. Of course, some of them are unable to make it, and some of them just don't want to go. But we went, I just, see how much he changed. McIntyre, I recognize him right off. His hair turned all white,
I'm sure so did yours too.
but he still had a full head of hair. He wasn't bald. And of course, he's crippled with arthritis, and he's having trouble with his eyes. He can't drive anymore. He won't drive. So he hasn't been making the reunion. And his wife has had a stroke here not too long ago and fallen from her back. And she's hard of hearing. She can write and see where he can't write. He can see, but he had a transplant in his eye. He had to wait quite a while. But he lives too far away to visit.
Where's the
Pennsylvania. Cranberry Township. And of course, in here, a lot of they're not very many from Michigan. Most of them are from New York, Alabama, Georgia, and a few from Florida. But most of them were Easterners, were New York and Pennsylvania. I went in with a guy from Lansing. We went in together, and he ended up in Able Valley. I ended up in Charlie Valley. And he died here about 3 years ago. He was he was a company around a battery clerk, and the battery clerk from ours, they had gotten together and got the reunion started. And, I think the first one they had was, well, I don't know what it was, but they wasn't made down. And then the next one they had at Camp Chaffee, and I didn't know about it. They had it in June. They called afterwards. But this guy from A Battery should have known where I lived, because we went down to Lansing and visited him a couple times. But he got a different job and we lost all contact. So the first one we went to was '89. That was down in Louisville. And this next one was down in Louisville, right?
Is it this year?
Yeah, in September. Ever since I've been going down, it's been September, about the middle of the month. But last year it wasn't, at the beginning of the month. Around Labor Day. Well, outside of that, there's nothing more to say.
Okay. That's good then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, I haven't got my medal. Well, just take my word. One of it, it's in there, one of it. They didn't.
Surprised how much he talked about it. He talked about it more than I thought he would. 'Cause I didn't think he really wanted to do it, but I guess he did.